welcome back to another episode of Under the Radar, Over the Moon. These are books that are either new or mid-list titles that we are over the moon about. So we're going to get right to it. This is our summer edition, so we're in the beach. We have the sun, the sand, the wind, the surf, and we have a beverage from our Under the Radar, Over the Moon bartender, Chris Connolly. Chris, get us drunk.
I will. A lovely Provence, if you want to know. A rosé with a hint of strawberry and a dry, lip-smacking finish. It's simply delightful. So, Amanda,
yes.
Here's your glass.
Thank you.
Me, Chris Connolly. My glass, Virginia Stanley.
Yes.
How did you know?
You've earned it, sister.
Thank you.
Let's do it.
Okay. I hope it's oaky.
No oak, Virginia, but that's okay. It's
okay.
Lovely.
I hope it has notes of something. Holy, okay. Here's to us. Here's to you, librarians. We hope you enjoy the books that we're about to talk to you about. Cheers.
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 Oh,
it's kind of bubbly. Okay, who's talking first?
And I want to start us off with Dear Amy by Helen Callaghan. This is the story about a woman who has two jobs. She works as a teacher and one job, but she has a side job at a newspaper writing an advice column. And the story starts when one of her students goes missing. And soon after that, she starts receiving these mysterious letters to her column claiming to be from a woman who was kidnapped 20 years before, saying that she knows what's going on. You know, she's trying to figure out these two different mysteries. Can they be connected? Can the woman kidnapped 20 years before still be alive? What's going on here? So this is, I think, really, really great for anybody who enjoys, you know, the psychological suspense. We have really, really kind of that unreliable narrator. You know, she's got all these secrets hiding in her past, but you really root for her as she's trying to solve the dual mysteries. And as the novel goes on, she kind of comes into her own power. And it was really, really great to read. The chapters are written from like multiple points of view, so that was really fun figuring out, you know, who's seeing what and where. And it culminates in this epic confrontation of resilience and survival. I think it'll be really great for fans of Jennifer McMahon or Mary Kubica, and I hope you check it out.
Okay, Chris?
So, I'm going to be talking about Nicotine by Nell Zink. This is a fantastically strange exploration of family, both the ones we choose and the ones we're born into, and also a deep dive into counterculture. So, it follows this young woman whose father was this weird kind of new age spiritual guru. And she decides to forge her own path, and she finds herself living amongst a community of squatters. This specific community is pro-smoking squatters. But you get, again, just this incredible exploration of the strangers, the weirdos, the countercultural icons that are just beneath the surface. Again, hilarious, deals with all the things you'd expect from a wonderful literary writer like Nell Zink. Sex, identity, race, politics. It runs the gamut, and she does it so well. So again, if you like the counterculture, strange, under-the-surface residents that you rarely see except for maybe late at night, think Rachel Kushner's The Flamethrowers, and then kind of that adventurous off-centeredness of Patrick DeWitt's The Sisters Brothers, and I don't think you'll be disappointed.
Okay, so the book that I'm going to talk about is News of the World by Paulette Giles. You've probably heard about this book by now. We've been talking about it since I was in the 5th grade. What's it about? It's set right after the Civil War, and we are introduced to this Captain Jefferson Kyle Kidd, who travels throughout northern Texas, and he's reading news of the world to people who are hungry for information. And he's an elderly widower. He's lived through 3 wars, and he's approached by when he's in Wichita Falls. He's approached by someone who's a 10-year-old orphan girl who was separated by her family. They were attacked by Kiowa Indians, and her family was killed. She was spared, and they raised her. Well, now she's been rescued, and for $50, he's offered to take her back to her family, who is in San Antonio, the only family she has, an aunt and an uncle. So this is their story of their 400-mile journey through this uncharted territory. So you really get a sense of what's happening at that time and what they have to endure. And she doesn't want anything to do with him. She barely speaks the language because she's been raised by these Indians, so they have this real friction between the two of them. But they eventually become, they learn to trust each other bit by bit. It's a wonderful story. It will leave you with a lump in your throat the size of Texas when you read the last page. I swear to God. All right, so let me just read you a couple of quotes. We just got one in from Nancy Pearl, who says that this is her best work yet. And she says that she writes with great clarity, understanding, and a forgiving heart. Janet Lockhart from Wake County Public Libraries in Raleigh, North Carolina, says this is stupendous writing, characters that get under your skin and burrow deep into your heart, great pacing, and an ending that makes you cry with joy and relief. My favorite line, I feel sorry for the book I read next. News of the World is a hard act to follow. Starred reviews, as I said, from Booklist and Kirkus. It is our lead read. News of the World, Paulette Giles. Trust. Who's next?
I would like to go again, this time with The Ripped Uprising by Amy S. Foster. This is a really fun, action-packed debut that sort of crosses the line between military thriller and sci-fi that starts with these people called citadels, and they are people who have been trained basically from toddler age into their teens to protect these areas that are called rifts, that are these portals to alternate Earths throughout, time and space. And our main character, her name is Rin, and she is one of these citadels. And the story begins when this teenage boy comes out of the rift. She meets him, feels this sort of instant connection that leads her to start questioning what's going on around the rifts, around the people that she works for, the people who are coming through the rifts. What is all going on here? This is one of the Harper Voyager spotlight titles for the fall, so this is kind of the book that they think will really break out. And I think I agree. It's got a lot of different aspects that will appeal to different people. Like I said before, it's got the military thriller, it's got the sci-fi, but it definitely will appeal to people who just want a little bit of speculative fiction and just kind of dip their toes into that genre without having to totally suspend belief. So I think a lot of people will enjoy it. It also has great YA crossover appeal. It's the first book in a series. I think people who liked Red Rising by Pierce Brown or Ready Player One by Ernest Cline, but also fans of like The Hunger Games or that TV show, The 100.
Next up, we have Lost Gods by Brom. That's how I say it, or you can just say Brom. Either way, I'm super psyched on this book. This is a kind of thrilling, dark fantasy adventure. So if you like Neil Gaiman, one of my favorites from him, Neverwhere, of course, this is right up your alley. Or if you like Clive Barker, any of like the Hellraiser series, again, sprint to this book, please. And of course, one of my personal heroes, Guillermo del Toro. All the imagery, it's so conducive to that style of dark fantasy. And what's it about? You probably want to know that too. It follows a young man who is murdered, but it doesn't end there. That would be a pretty short book, like one page, he's murdered. No, it goes on, shockingly enough. And what happens? Well, he descends into purgatory. He was kind of betrayed by someone he trusts, was murdered, and now he's searching through purgatory for a key that will save his wife and unborn child still living at this point. So again, this fantastic kind of twisted religious imagery. It's fast-paced, forward-moving, and completely engrossing. And it has, I think it's 35 color and black and white images that just kind of vividly describe some of these twisted creatures and again, icons from religious imagery. You can see from the cover, that's kind of the example we're dealing with here. Just incredibly talented and immersive and super exciting.
But wait, there's more.
What?
I could not end this video without talking about one of my favorite books for the fall. That is The Perfect Girl by Gilly Macmillan. She is the author of What She Knew, which came out earlier this year. It was a bestseller. It was also a Library Reads pick, and it was nominated for an Edgar Award. And I have to tell you, fans of that book will not be disappointed by The Perfect Girl. It follows this young girl who was forced to kind of abandon her old life when she was involved in this terrible accident that left 3 of her classmates dead. So she and her mother have formed this new life, and it seems to be going well, but then at the beginning of the novel, the mother is found dead. So over the course of 24 hours, you get about 3 different points of view, all trying to figure out what happened to the mother. Is it something that was related to their old life or some kind of dark secret that is in their new life? I have to say, Gilly Macmillan really knows how to write these characters with their secrets and their desires and their motivations, and I absolutely just tore through it. So much fun to read. Mary Kubica agrees. She said it's literary suspense at its finest. So I really hope you check it out. It comes out in September, so definitely give it a read.
The last book to talk about today is Hidden Figures by Margot Shetterly. This is a never-before-told story about African-American women who worked for NASA during the Jim Crow era. There were a lot of women, there were a lot of people who worked at NASA. They were called human computers. There were African-American mathematicians, there were women who were called colored computers. And this is about those women. It profiles 5 women specifically. And the author draws on personal recollections, interviews with NASA executives, and it talks about these women who used like rudimentary materials like slide rulers and adding machines and paper and pencil to launch astronauts into space. John Glenn said that he refused to launch until they signed off on him. So they were highly respected, brilliant women, yet it was during the Jim Crow era, so they couldn't use the same bathrooms, they couldn't eat with their counterparts. And so this is a really incredible story that talks about the space race and the fight for gender equality and racial segregation. The author is the daughter of a NASA employee, and that's how she found out about all of this. This is being made into a movie starring Taraji P. Henson and Octavia Spencer. It'll be released Martin Luther King weekend. This is an incredibly important book that everybody should know about. This is a story that needs to be told. So please pick up a copy of Hidden Figures. So, to you, librarians, to summer, have a safe one, have a happy one, and be bubbly, like us.